Hello, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to the keynote of the Citrix Study Partner Pavilion. I'm Zishan Sharif, and I'm going to be your host for the session. Like every year, Citrix is excited to be participating at the HIMSS trade show happening at Chicago from April 17 this year. We'd love to meet you guys in person and showcase our exciting partner solutions in the healthcare space. This session is a prequel to the main event, and we will discuss the latest and greatest from Citrix and the healthcare space. Let me welcome our guest for the day, Christian Boucher. Hello, Christian.
Good morning, Zishan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Christian. So you want to tell our audience who you are and what you do at Citrix?
Absolutely. So you've got the name Christian Boucher. I'm the Chief Healthcare Strategist for Citrix Systems. I've been here about 8 years. My role has continuously grown to enable conversations around our product line as well as our alliance partners and Citrix Ready partners around how technology can improve clinical workflows and overall help healthcare organizations implement secure and simple technology solutions in their environments.
Great. Welcome to the show, Christian. Christian, my first question, post-pandemic, healthcare organizations have been struggling to meet rising consumer expectations while controlling costs, right? So what are the three important focus areas do you think are they for the healthcare organizations?
Well, it's kind of been a evolving strategy, but I think what we've seen post-pandemic is understanding that organizations not only are looking to lower costs, which it happens every year, but understanding that those expectations from patients, the expectations from clinicians are changing. It was a quick switch to hybrid roles, so we've seen a big shift in the technologies that they're leveraging. Citrix being one of them, but also how are they integrating those workflows back now that we're seeing organizations take some strides back into it. So we're getting into that true hybrid model where organizations are identifying ways to save costs by continuing that hybrid work roles, as well as finding ways to look back over their shoulder and identify those we could call them like loopholes in the way they delivered some of these solutions. So security is a big consideration in healthcare. It always has been.
Great points. Yeah, this brings me up to the next question, right? What are the new trends that you're seeing with healthcare customers?
There are so many different aspects of that. Especially on the clinical side, but from our point of view, what we're seeing a lot in our conversations is, again, how do we improve this user experience? How do we lower the technology hurdles between those clinicians and physicians trying to do their job, which is treat patients? And we've all seen the rise of EHRs. I can remember implementing my first EHR almost 20 years ago. It's never been as smooth as everyone would like, especially considering that technology evolves and allows much different workflows. So we're seeing a lot of push for like really hyper mobile workflows where there are purpose-built apps and mobile infrastructure to be able to facilitate that free roaming, whether it's with smart devices or the workstation on wheels has been one of the big staples in healthcare for a long time. But finding ways to have the technology meet the expectations of these newer, and I say newer, but they've been pushing for mobile workflows for a long time. But the evolution of solutions that enable clinicians, whether it's nurses or doctors or even lab techs or phlebotomy or even bed tracking, to simplify those workflows and truly leverage the technology that's out there and bring it into those workflows.
Got it. Mobile workforce security have always been one of the top priorities for healthcare customers from a long time, and I'm glad Citrix is addressing that. Right, AI is really big, right? You hear this buzzword everywhere, right? Every other industry, every other solution is trying to use AI in some capacity or the other, right? So how is Citrix trying to imbibe AI into their solutions, and what difference does it make to the healthcare customers?
So there's been a lot of work on the clinical side of the house. I think where we are trying to leverage AI and machine learning is, again, understanding that user experience, being able to identify problems before they happen, using, metrics within our systems, bringing back into our ML platform to diagnose problems before they actually are problems. I think the other piece is, when you look at, we talked about security being important with our security solutions, now part of the core Citrix portfolio, we can also detect anomalies within behaviors.
Great. Those are some fantastic insights, Christian. So this leads me to my next question, right? Citrix has been in the healthcare space for the past 2 decades, right? And it is continuously innovating to meet the customer demands in the healthcare space. So what direction is Citrix taking in 2023?
I would say you're going to see, a lot more, reaching out across, the aisles, talking with our, of course, you've got the core EHR providers, the Epics, the Cerners, you name them. We've had long-standing relationships with all of them. So we are trying to improve those relationships, as much as possible, continue to develop solutions that make the delivery of those solutions easier, more secure, and more reliable for the end users. But also, we are doing a lot of work on those ancillary systems or other clinical systems to build out relationships to come first to market with some possible technology solutions that simplify or integrate our products together. And we're also really working on, and you'll see with we actually have a fireside chat with Microsoft happening at HIMSS event. How are we going across with our core hyperscaler, our core, alliance partners to help design solutions that bridge the gap between, what the consumers really want and, what our technologies can do jointly together. So you'll see a lot more integration across those aspects of our partner portfolios. But also, I think, with our refocus on verticals, you'll see a lot more design-based thinking and how we're going to improve what we do and hopefully improve the way those solutions can be securely delivered to the consumers.
Wow, that's some exciting tech coming up. I'm sure our audience is intrigued to know more about Citrix solutions in the healthcare space. So, Christian, there are a lot of healthcare organizations who are trying to take this digital transformation leap, right? There are a lot of healthcare organizations who want to use Citrix for their requirements, right? So can you tell us what are some of the typical use cases a healthcare organization may use Citrix in?
Absolutely. I would say the number one really is, again, the deployment of EHRs because of the ability to scale on demand, the security around it, the ability to, especially on the onboarding, maybe mergers and acquisitions, affiliate physician programs, hybrid workflow. That has been pretty much the staple of where Citrix got its foot in the door with clinical systems. So again, core EHRs, and that kind of expanded into all the ancillary products, as well as the third-party application integrations, whether it's scanning, printing, faxing, all those pieces that kind of go into that are core aspects of clinical workflows. But that has kind of matured into, we have organizations that have thousands of applications in the Citrix environment to truly deliver that enterprise workspace. So that's really the first core one. I think the other piece that we've seen a lot of use case for Citrix in is the overall VDI message. So organizations are looking at trying to simplify the way they are delivering end user compute to organizations. So VDI makes a lot of sense in specific workflows. And we have organizations that have, virtual app delivery for some workflows, but the same user goes to a different workflow. Maybe they're in leadership and they need a full access to a full desktop. They can leverage VDI at the same time, and depending upon how they want to work that day, they can, or that hour, they can choose the one that's appropriate for that workflow. And I think the last piece is we're seeing a lot of investigation into thin client and lightweight client deployments, whether it's the IGL OS, whether it's Chrome OS devices, the ability to deliver, essentially pass out a laptop or a thin client device in real time, have a user log in and have full access to all the solutions that the enterprise offers, is not only it saves time for deployment purposes, saves costs on the actual endpoint, but also extends life cycles. I think the other part of that is most of those OSs are a lot more secure. And lastly, I would say, the more and more we talk about healthcare, security is becoming a giant priority for everyone. So the layers of security that we can add to our already existing workflows makes a big difference. So I would say those are probably the key ones that we're seeing. And of course, there's a whole bunch of other pieces, especially when you get into the mobile device side of those hypermobile workflows.
Right. You mentioned security as one of the important use cases for any healthcare organization, right? So talking about security, right? With Citrix, the patient data doesn't lie on endpoints, but in this data center or the cloud. So how efficiently does Citrix do this without compromising on the overall user experience?
Well, I think that, that has been one of our strong suits and one of the reasons why organizations leverage, Citrix virtualization to deliver EHRs. One was the performance, and I think performance is can take into a couple of different metrics. One is just how fast the solution works. The other piece is how easily does it integrate into other solutions within that kind of third-party ecosystem. So, understanding how those technologies interact, in a virtual environment like we have, compared to on a local installed client. When we talk efficiencies and delivery and kind of those configuration type scenarios, I think Citrix excels in being able to deliver that in real time, as well as minimize the downtime possibilities in those situations.
Some of those capabilities, I think, are very unique to Citrix offering, right? I'm sure our healthcare organizations are pretty intrigued to witness them firsthand. Right. So coming to the partner ecosystem, Christian, we at Citrix Ready work with a lot of partners, right, in developing joint solutions for the healthcare space, right? So how important is the partner ecosystem in the healthcare IT scope of things?
I think it's incredibly important. There's no one ring to rule them all type scenario, like in the old folk tales. But I think that as we look at across our Citrix Ready program, there are significant advantages to leveraging those solutions in especially in the healthcare environments. Whether you're talking about the big players like Imprivata and those type of direct clinical interactions, it's huge because of just the ability to simplify that major aspect of logging in and logging out and jumping from workstation to workstation with those hypermobile workflows. I mean, that's a big one. But even going beyond that with our device integrations, our performance analytics, organizations, there are so many different aspects of our partner program that most Citrix customers would gain a lot of advantages in leveraging. And I think that's part of our role here, is to deepen those ties with those organizations and not only enable them to interact, Citrix Ready is great. And I think, one of the things that we try to focus on this year in our conversations is, how do we take these Citrix Ready partners and bring more value to them, while at the same time bringing more value to our customers? How can we better integrate? How can we better align our strategies for specific workflows in the healthcare ecosystem, as well as, are there opportunities for us to bring new solutions to market with our joint solutions, maybe come, first to market with some newer solutions that solve some of these new problems we're seeing, in the healthcare ecosystem.
Talking about partners, Christian, my next question is, we have a strategic relationship with Google Chrome OS, right? And where we have developed Citrix Ready validated solutions for healthcare. Would you like to throw some light on it?
Absolutely. Google and more specifically the Chrome team has done a lot of work over the last few years in developing solutions that are, healthcare ready. We have several large healthcare customers that are leveraging Chrome OS devices to deploy their solutions, their EHR platforms, their back office solutions directly through Chrome OS. So I think the opportunity for organizations to find ways to leverage technologies such as those super lightweight OSs from Chrome OS and secure-wise gives us a lot more opportunity to bring additional value. And I think the relationship between Google and Citrix will continue to grow. I know that we are doing a lot of work, especially on the client device integrations as well. But moreover, I think Google has committed to identifying ways that they can align with us that directly impact healthcare providers, both patient facing as well as back office and administrative tasks within organizations. So I think there's great opportunity for customers to learn how to leverage our joint offerings together to improve quite a few aspects of their environments within the health system.
Sure. So I'm very intrigued to know the future of healthcare IT. I'm sure our audience is. So let's hear from the horse's mouth.
So I think overall what we're going to see is more leverage in AI. I think whether it's on the diagnosis side or leveraging machine learning and AI to help with administrative tasks or automating certain workflows, especially on the back office side, that's going to be key. I see a lot more movement in the merger and acquisition side of the house as well. So finding ways to simplify that combination of solutions within organizations, the ability for organizations to be as nimble as possible, deliver the solutions they need to wherever they need to be. That's going to be a big piece. More and more we're seeing kind of that alliance-based as well. So whether it's specialty practices, partnering with larger healthcare organizations or smaller health systems being merged together to create a larger health system, all those different scenarios are very complex in nature and they're very intimidating, especially when you have all these security concerns around those mergers and acquisitions. I think there's a lot of opportunity there for improvement, and I think Citrix can help deliver a lot of those solutions to make that journey a bit easier.
Great. Thank you, Christian. I think we're coming to the end of the session. Thanks for the insights. I think those were really some valuable insights that our audience would take home. Before we wrap things up, our audience would love to learn about your presence at HIMSS 23. Want to throw some light?
Absolutely. So Citrix will be presenting several sessions while we're at the event. We'll also be doing quite a few fireside chats. I mentioned one with Microsoft that's going to be a pretty cool one with their Epic on Azure team. We will have various presentations throughout our booth, some focusing on clinical workflows, some focusing on our analytics platforms, some focusing on our partnerships, especially with our Citrix Ready partners. And also there will be quite a few, I'm not sure the exact number, I think the calendar is still being worked out, but we have quite a few theater presentations, both with myself and Microsoft and other partners, but also many of our Citrix Ready partners will be presenting all of their solutions there as well.
Yep. Thanks for that. Yeah, please don't forget to drop into our Citrix Ready partner booth. That's number 674. We have plethora of partner solutions in the healthcare IT space. We have our executive leaders, we have theater presentations, we have live demos, exciting demos happening out there. So look forward to meeting our audience in person at HIMSS 23. Thanks a lot for your time. We are wrapping this session up now. Thank you.
Thank you, Zishan. Have a good day.